Hey guys, Chad with BAKO'S Custom Lawn, and back with another video. Not lawn care this time. It's going to be cooking some corned beef, and here's my large pot here, and it's a Viking pot. And you know, these aren't cheap. They're about 180, 200 bucks for one of these bad boys. But I'll tell you what, they're very, very nice pot. I believe it's got the markings here. It's an 11 quart pot, so I wanted to get something like this just for the plain reason so I can do corned beef. And so I'm doing some corned beef brisket here. I like the point cuts because they're a little fattier, and you guys might not like those. You might want to get the flat cuts, so they're typically a lot leaner, but I'm going to be using the point cut, and basically this has got some marinade already in there, and then there's also some pickling spice. There's a little packet inside here. A lot of guys recommend, you know, to wash them off or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I tend to think that it's just extra flavor for the corned beef. And then so I've got my other ingredients here, which just happens to be cabbage, head of cabbage, carrots, an onion, and some red potatoes, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple recipe. The only thing is, you don't really want to stick any of this stuff in here until you boiled this. So what we're going to do is get these out of here, get them in the pot, and they got to boil for 4 hours. Usually after the 4 hours, I'll start throwing the carrots in, the potatoes, and the onions, and then I usually wait about another hour, and then I'll throw probably the cabbage in there. Cabbage takes the least amount of time. It's usually 15 to 30 minutes, 20 minutes, right around in there, and the cabbage is done. So you definitely don't want to stick your cabbage in first thing, because it's just going to disintegrate in there. A lot of people do it in their crock pot. You know, that's great too. Whatever you guys want to do is good. This is just how I do it. So anyway, let's get started here. I'll wash my hands again real quick, and then we'll get this in there. Okay, yeah, I'm a little late on my St. Patrick's Day corned beef, but been pretty busy with other tasks and whatnot, so I'm just now getting to it. So I guess it's a better late than never type of a deal. So anyway, I'm gonna get these opened up here and see what we got to work with here. I'm gonna maybe move this just a bit closer so you guys can see what I'm doing. Get this baby opened up. So I think I might just probably just drain the juices off, and probably won't wash it off. I'll probably just gonna go ahead and drain a lot of this off of here. Okay, I think I got most of it here. And you got to remember too, don't throw away your pickling spice, because it's in here in just a little tiny bag. So make sure we fish that out of here. Set that there for a second. And this, I have to drip it all over the floor, but it's pretty much take it to the pot, and I'll get you guys a better look at this here in a second. So here's what your pickling spice looks like, and most people that hasn't done this before will go ahead and throw this away because it's in there in basically all the blood and juice. So make sure you don't throw this out with your packaging. So stick this in here, and this is what makes it taste real yummy. Take this and dump this in here. Go. Got all your yummy spices there. Let's get the second one opened up. Kind of what it looks like in the bag. Lots of juice in there. I'll tell you what, in the past I've made just one of these things, and then I wished I made another one. So now I generally just make 2 of these every time, because I'll tell you what, they're pretty darn tasty. Okay, second one in here. All right, get my second spice packet. Kind of a messy ordeal here. Once you get it all in there, it's not too bad. You don't have to touch it anymore. So we got the second spice packet in here. Okay, perfect. A little bit of juice on the floor here, so I'm going to wipe that up real quick. Get the hands all washed up. Yeah, this corned beef juice is pretty sticky, so if you get it on the floor, you want to get it wiped up right away. Okay, get that out of here. The knife we're done with for now. Okay. I like to clean as I go along. I'm not a big fan of making a big mess and then trying to clean it up afterwards. Best to just clean your dishes as you go along. That way you have no big mess to mess around with. One thing here and there that you use, you just clean it, and you're done. So anyway, I'm going to bring you over here a little closer. I'll let you see what I've done here. Not too much yet. I'll get you down in here. Let you take a look at what's in the pot here. So basically we have the corned beef in there and the spice packets, right? So now what we're going to do, we're going to get some water in here, and I think it says in the directions, just cover the corned beef with water and then keep it covered, you know, while it's boiling for 4 hours. But I generally fill it a little fuller than that because you're going to get some evaporation, and then you just less going over and filling it up every 5 minutes because it evaporated. So I'm going to go ahead and get some water in this, and then go from there. Okay. I also want to thank all the new subscribers for subscribing to the channel. It means a lot. So try to keep the channel not all about lawn care. We want to have, I mean, at least I want to have some different kind of content pretty much whatever I'm doing, I'll try to make a video on. That way it keeps it interesting. I mean, there's only so much lawn care we can all take. I mean, we can all learn a little bit from those kind of videos, but you know, it's nice to have something else, you know. So if you're making corned beef, you know, you might take a few pointers out of this. This corned beef is amazing. I've been making it for well over 20 years, you know, like this, and every so often I tweak it here and there, but for the most part it's all the same simple recipe, nothing special, nothing a chef would have to make. So anyway, got this about, I would say 3/4 of the way full with water. Now you don't want to fill it clear to the top for the main reason that it's going to boil over. So now you can see what it looks like. 3/4 of the way full of water. We got the pickling spice in there and the corned beef, and that's it. So I'm going to turn the heat on that bad boy, and I'll put the lid on, but I'm not going to put it on all the way. I'm going to leave the lid cracked, just like this. Just moved over to the burner that I want. Move this down here so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So anyway, I don't know if you can see this. Sometimes it's kind of hard to let you see, but the lid is not all the way on there. It's just cracked. If you go turn your fire on and the lid's all the way down, you turn your fire all the way up, you know, here, once this comes to a boil, you're going to have a lot of boiling over, and you're in a big mess. So anyway, just a tip for when you're doing it. So that's it so far. I'm not gonna let you guys watch this for 4 hours, obviously, so we'll get this edited out. But basically, that's it for 4 hours, and you can do it even longer than that. You know, the longer you do this, the better it tastes, actually. So I mean, a lot of people do them in their crock pots. You know, they'll throw it in, go to work, come home, you got nice corned beef, you know, when you get home. So that's 8-10 hours. So I mean, I'm doing mine for 4, and I may even do it longer than that. I may cook this thing, shoot, I may cook it all night. So that's what's nice about this large pot. I just got to make sure that I keep it filled, you know, with water. You don't want it to dry. You don't want all the water to evaporate out and it get dry in there, because then you'll just kind of ruin what you've accomplished. So anyway, I'm just gonna, that's kind of the first step, and then we'll kind of keep going along here. So I'm just gonna pause this, and we'll have a little continuation for the next step, which will be pretty much throwing the vegetables in. So anyway, if you guys got recipes or any suggestions that you've tried over the years and it works well for corned beef, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and you know, I may try it, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, one more little step here, like I was telling you before. We come over here and we take a look at this. Make sure you grab something to grab your lid with, because it will burn your hand. So we look in here, the water's getting a little bit low, so I'm going to take and put a little more water in this pot. Don't need a lot. It hasn't gone down a whole lot, but it's gone down enough to where if we're going to do this overnight, we want to make sure it's topped off. We're just going to low boil this throughout the night. And we got this on here now. Alright, I'm just going to set this in here like so. Now you guys can see that it's full again, and that's all we need to do. We'll set the lid back to the way it was, and that's one of our steps. So anyway, you probably hear my baby in the background. He's having a blast over there. Anyway, all right guys, I'll catch you catch you on the next little segment here. We're just gonna pretty much put this thing to bed and low simmer it all night long. Then in the morning we'll put our vegetables and everything in there and we'll call it good. Alright guys, so now we're up pretty early. It's probably about 6:30. So originally I was just going to do it for 4 hours, but then I thought, you know what, it's kind of late, so maybe I'll just let it cook all night. So that's exactly what I did. Basically, I'm going to bring you over here so you can see what it looks like. Now, just had to fill it up with water again. It was getting a little low. Now this time I didn't fill it up as much because we got to have room for the vegetables. So anyway, I think I'm going to turn it this way so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to chop up some vegetables, throw in there. Everything's pretty easy except for you just need to wash the potatoes for in here. So let me get the cutting board out here. Just like this. I just want to wash these potatoes off a little bit quick. Here. Okay, just going to turn this just a little bit there, about right there. Alright, now wash the potatoes off. Now what we're going to do, these are pretty quick and easy. You just want to take and, I generally just quarter them. Nothing fancy, just about like that. Throw those in there. Some of the bigger ones you might need to cut it a little tinier, but pretty much for the most part, that's what we're after. It's kind of bite-sized pieces. I did that one into 6 pieces. So. Yeah, and everybody puts their own ingredients in these. This is just kind of what I do. I like a little potatoes and a little bit of potatoes and carrots and whatnot in mine, along with the cabbage. So you can just put cabbage if that's what you like. You can just put that all by itself if you want, or you can just do corn and beef all by itself. There's no rules to how you make this. You can pretty much do whatever you want as long as you get everything cooked. Cook to temperature, you're fine. So get this in there. Okay, potatoes are in. Also going to add the carrots real quick. There ain't nothing you have to do to the carrots because I get the baby ones. So you can get the big carrots and chop them up if you want. But for me, it's just easier to just get the baby carrots. Go ahead and dump these in the pot while we're at it here. So like so. Okay, carrots are in. So we really only have, well, I have the onion here to stick in here. So we're gonna chop this onion up, and that's gonna be about the last of the vegetables, and then the only thing left is the cabbage. So we'll get this chopped up and thrown in there real quick. And then everybody's on the comments going to be like, oh, you chopped the onion all wrong. Well, you know, I see people how they chop their onions, and it's a whole big thing, you know, and it's just like, you know what, by the time you get done telling everybody how to chop up the onion and how you do it, you'll probably already be done chopping up the onions. So, anyway, I just make the big onion into smaller pieces, and however you want to do it and accomplish that, more power to you. So this is just how I do it. You can do it however you want. Outside piece, I'm not really liking the texture of that. It's kind of tough, so I got rid of that outside, more of that outside piece. And like I said, we'll just chop this thing up into smaller kind of cubes. Like I said, it ain't rocket science here. We're not building a ship to go to the moon. All we're doing is chopping up some onions, so kind of look like that. We'll shove all that in there, and then I'm going to let this cook for another hour to get the onion and the potatoes and carrots cooked well, and then basically we'll throw the cabbage in and cook it for another 30 minutes, roughly. And then we should be done. So anyway, guys, we'll see you back here in about an hour, and we'll do the next step. Alright, guys. Now we're to this point here where we cook the vegetables. Only thing left is to add the cabbage. So, you can tell the meat's really tender. All the vegetables are there, so I'm going to get this flipped around. Put it up here so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Go ahead and get the cabbage cut here. We got okay. Now, this is the cabbage we're dealing with. I generally peel a couple of these top leaves off here, just to kind of expose the fresher part of the cabbage here. I'm going to give it a quick rinse off. dry it off here. Okay, there we go. Alright, so get this over here. A little closer to what I'm doing here. Okay. You don't have to be super picky about how you cut this up, just chop it up. So this stuff's gonna shrink down and get super soft anyway, so don't really have to be rocket science how you do this. I just do it like this. Just lay it in the pot. I generally just go around it like this until you get to the core, and then you don't want to put the core in there, obviously. So I'm just going to put this in there, push it down in there. Keep cutting it. Okay. Cabbage kind of reminds me a little bit like spinach. When you cook it, it kind of wilts down into nothing. So it looks like there's a lot in there, but by the time it cooks down, it's down to pretty much down to nothing. So there's the core of the cabbage. I just work my way around it until I pretty much get everything I want. So that's pretty much all I take off. So core, you can kind of see it there, you know, and that's pretty much all I'm gonna take off of there. So, and we'll just put this in the pot here, and then I'm probably gonna add just a little bit more water here. So get a cup here. Over here where you guys can see what I'm doing. This is what it looks like. All the cabbage is in there. Got another couple of cups of water here. Yes, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and move this back over to the fire here. Put the lid back on. Scoot it back over. And then that's pretty much it, guys. So here in about 30 minutes when the cabbage is done, I'll show you the end result, and we'll enjoy. So anyway, guys, just hold tight and we'll finish up the video. Alright guys, this is gonna be the end of the video here. So we're all finished. The only pointers that I probably didn't say is once you add the vegetables, the cabbage and stuff as you go along, you need to let it come up to a boil before you start timing again, because otherwise it's not going to be accurate timing. So just make sure you let it come up to a boil, 4 hours, you know, add your vegetables, you know, an hour after it comes to a boil, and then cabbage, add it, and then 30 minutes after it comes to a boil. So anyway, I did it a lot longer than that. So, I mean, it's recommended. You could do 10 hours if you want. So anyway, let me show you the end product here. gonna pop the lid off of here. Move this out of the way. So that's what we're dealing with, guys. See that? It's just falling apart. I'm gonna put a little bit in here and give it a little taste test here. This one a little. Try just a little bite of it. See how it is. Get a little cabbage in there. A little bit of meat. The meat's usually kind of stringy like this, so if you see that, don't worry. That's pretty common. That's just how corned beef is. So let's give this a whirl and see how it is. Get a little bit of a potato. All right, there we go. Put the lid back on. And then give it a little bit of a taste test here. This is going to be really hot, but try to blow on it. So I need just to add just a pinch of salt, but other than that, it's perfect. Corned beef is super tender. You guys can kind of see that. It just falls apart. Carrots are tender, and potatoes are perfect. So anyway, guys, that's about it. I think I forgot to add the salt, but you don't really have to add much because corned beef has a little bit of sodium in it already just to preserve it. So just be careful how much salt you actually add. But no, that's pretty much the end of the video, guys. If you like these kind of videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day, guys. Appreciate it.